Fight fans, this is Kurt DeVille with Kind of Punch Boxing News, and I gotta cover this. It's about 5 in the morning, and I just seen the video of Errol Spence, and I got a lot to talk about. And I want to talk about this video in particular because, the rumored fight or the fight that's peaking is a potential fight between Terrace Crawford and Errol Spence. Well, Errol Spence has came on public record and he's pretty much confronting or criticizing Terrace Crawford's record, and he did a breakdown by breakdown, and he compared his record to Terrace Crawford's record. He picked Chris Algieri, and then he picked the best fighter that Terrace Crawford fought. And, he claims that Chris Algieri was better than any fighter that Terrace Crawford fought. And that's pretty much what he went on, because he brought up Ndongo, and since Ndongo got stopped by Prograis, and Postal, who did Postal beat, which was Matisse, but then Pacquiao beat Matisse. So Matisse, is not really valid. It's not a valid argument, and that did, so what Errol Spence did was he discredited Terrace Crawford's resume. Not really, to me, that's not really respecting the weight class Terrace Crawford was in, or the weight classes that he was in, because he was at 135 to 140. He beat Gamboa. And let me continue the statements that Errol Spence has made. He was saying that he's on Fox and Showtime, and Terrace Crawford's on Top Rank. He said it's political. He says it's a lot of politics, right? So since he's saying that, he's went on and to say, well, Terrace Crawford won't come to Showtime, and I won't go to ESPN. So what I got from this video, from this interview, is a big excuse with a twist. Okay? This is a big excuse with a twist. Errol Spence has went on record to say, first of all, no disrespect to Terrace Crawford, yada, 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 but he's not good. Bob Arum, he's a good promoter, meaning he knows how to fix fights for Terrace Crawford to win easily, like he's made it easily for Terrace Crawford's career, and he's built his career. If he was so good, why didn't he get in there with Pacquiao? And then, all the fighters that Terrace Crawford has fought, he claims that Chris Algieri is better than all of them. Okay, let's break this down. First off, Errol Spence said that Julius Odongo wasn't any good because, he had the other two belts. He wasn't any good because Prograis stopped him. Well, that's an empty assumption. And I'm going to tell you why it's an empty assumption. Because Julius Odongo was stopped by Terrace Crawford. This was an undefeated guy before, okay? And then just because you get stopped by a new, hot, young prospect doesn't discredit any fighter. It doesn't make it look that good because, Prograis. But we have to see what Prograis does in the sport first, okay? Understand Terrace Crawford did that first. Yuriorkis Gamboa was undefeated. Gold Olympian. So was Diaz, a gold Olympian. He stopped 2 gold Olympians, undefeated guys. Errol Spence has never done that yet. He unified the whole division. Errol Spence has not done that yet, regardless of what he says, like Jeff Horn. He's well, Jeff Horn. Who did Jeff Horn beat? Pacquiao. I think Pacquiao beat Jeff Horn. I believe that Pacquiao beat Jeff Horn too. The only difference is you haven't fought Jeff Horn nor Manny Pacquiao. So he wants to talk about Pacquiao so bad. Okay, if you can't fight Terrence Crawford because Terrence Crawford is on this side of the street, right? Well, why don't you fight Manny Pacquiao then? Food for thought. Why don't you fight that guy? Since he doesn't have a promoter, he's not with Top Rank anymore. You know, he has a lot to say about Terrence Crawford. And you're clearly saying that you won't come over to ESPN. He's not fighting on ESPN. You know, and he thinks that Terrence Crawford would not take a deal to fight him on Showtime or Fox. So basically, you're giving everyone an excuse. You're discrediting this guy, but he's such a great fighter to you after you've said all that BS. But then yet, you're not going to fight him. You know, and you know, and what's a trip about this is that he's fought Chris Algieri, and the only person Chris Algieri beat was Ruslan Provodnikov. Ruslan Provodnikov didn't even win a fight after that, honestly. He retired after that fight. He lost to the guy Victor Ortiz is going to fight. What's his name? I forget his name now. John Molina. Okay. So, and then he retired after that. So he's, you know, that's Chris Algieri. Chris Algieri got beat up by Pacquiao, got dropped 4 or 5 times. Okay. So where is Chris Algieri's legitimacy? Like, because he beat Ruslan and then you beat him? Who is Chris Algieri? Chris Algieri lost to Khan, to Pacquiao, to him. Okay, what did Chris Algieri do in the sport of boxing? Okay, Samuel Vargas, what did he do? Give Khan a good fight? He hasn't even fought someone like Khan. Spence is not really on. You fought Brook, just because you fight Brook for the IBF. Okay, the same belt that Sean Porter had. You know, and then Brook basically, you know, held it hostage for years, a couple years, you know, a few years. You know, just because you beat him don't make your resume any better than anyone's. You know, that's the thing about Errol Spence. Errol Spence has to understand, you know, he's still trying to fight Keith Thurman. Now, mind you, what he said about Keith Thurman, he said, I have to cover this. He said that the fans in the media and the reporters, they wanted him to fight. Terrence Crawford wanted him to fight Errol Spence, and he feels that Errol Spence is Errol Spence feels that that it's a fight to make between Keith Thurman. Yeah, it's an easier fight to make. But reporters didn't want that fight to happen. You know who wanted that fight to happen? Floyd Mayweather. Because Keith Thurman was at a point where he could have fought Floyd, but Floyd didn't want to fight him. So what Floyd did, he raised his stats to make Errol Spence just as good as Keith Thurman, knowing damn well Errol Spence hasn't done anything near what Keith Thurman had done at that point of time. Okay, and he still have not. That's why he was like, no, I don't want to fight him. I think you need to fight Errol Spence so he can avoid fighting him. That's the type of fighter in person that Floyd Mayweather is. He's not going to take a tough fight if there's no money in it. You know what I mean? He might not even take a tough fight anyway if he knows he could sell this fight over here. I've done a video about it. You can agree, you can disagree. But that's the whole thing about this, though. The whole nutshell. You know, everyone that he's trying to fight, you don't want to fight Terrence Crawford, and then to me, it seems like an excuse because you're trying to pull up politics. Look, if Manny Pacquiao, Floyd Mayweather can fight, you can fight Terrence Crawford. If Mike Tyson can fight Lennox Lewis, you can fight Terrence Crawford. Okay? If Oscar De La Hoya can fight Felix Trinidad, you can fight Terrence Crawford. So, you know, before you go and put Terrence Crawford on blast, but then yet, oh, I'll never fight him or whatever, you know, and the money got to be right. Dude, the money always has to be right. You guys are prize fighters. But that's what I don't understand is, you know, Errol Spence, now he's getting this new persona about him. You know, he's getting a little cocky. I felt he was getting a little cocky maybe early last year when he was saying, oh, I'd go up and stop Golovkin. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. That's, you know what I mean? And if he's that cocky, right, I feel that Errol Spence should do something that other fighters dared to do. Mikey Garcia dared to go up and fight him. You know, Amir Khan went to fight Canelo. The guy that he beat, Brook, went up to fight Golovkin. Okay. Well, if that's the case, why don't you do what one of them did? Why don't you go up and fight someone bigger than you, since you hit so hard, since you're so tough, since you're this, you're that, you know? So I think the fight should actually happen between him and Canelo Alvarez. If he cannot get some form way or make another excuse on why he can't fight Terrence Crawford, but you want to discredit his resume, but then your excuse is, oh, I don't want to go over there and fight or whatever because I don't do that. This is politics. Go ahead and fight Canelo Alvarez. And let's see what Canelo Alvarez does for you. Let's see what he does. Because then you could say you can do something and accomplish something if he beats Canelo, which I doubt, because Canelo's not that type of dude. I would love to see that fight, because now you got somebody just as big, just as strong as you. You know what I mean? And your punches, let's see what they do up there at 160. You know? And I'm going for Golovkin, but I'm pretty sure that Canelo will win this fight. You know, and if he wins that fight, that makes Canelo that much popular. If he loses that fight, that makes Canelo, you know, need someone like Errol Spence. You know, and Errol Spence don't even know it. But I think, you know, with all the talk, the newfound, you know, I don't know what, something must have got under his skin or what. But if he feels that he can't make that fight, you know, if you can't fight Pacquiao, you can't fight Terrence Crawford. Because I think actually, you know, Errol Spence should try to fight Pacquiao. You know, I think that fight should happen, you know, or he can go up and fight Canelo, you know, fight the cash cow. If you're worried about money, you know, I'm pretty sure when Canelo beats the hell out of you, Terrence Crawford will still fight you. You know what I mean? It won't be as big because you've lost. You know what I mean? Just like because the fight you fought with Carol Brook wasn't as big because he lost. But, you know, it is what it is. He did go up there and fight. You know, and you fought a damaged fighter. You know what I'm saying? Just like he fought a damaged Algieri. Pacquiao softened him up for you. Golovkin softened Brook up for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, you really didn't. Who did you fight? You know, that was fresh, sharp, good. No one. I mean, who did Errol Spence fight? You know what I'm saying? Samuel Vargas? That's it. Samuel Vargas, Kell Brook, and Chris Algieri. Now, what significance did these three guys have in common besides being beat by him? You know what I mean? Ask yourself that. What did Chris Algieri do? You know, what did Samuel Vargas do? You know what I mean? What did Carol Brook do besides beat Sean Porter, a guy he ain't fought? Come on, man. Let's make this make sense. You know, he beat Sean Porter. Don't mean he gonna beat Sean Porter. You know what I mean? He ain't fought any elite guys yet. That's the whole thing. This guy is telling people who this other guy, this undisputed champion has fought. And people can criticize your resume just like I have. So deal with it. Anyway, you guys tell me what you think about this. Please subscribe, and you guys been counterpunched. Peace.